Hey guys, Israel back again with Heavy Metal Reptiles. Today we got Killer Frost out. Um, this is our Leopard Gecko. It is a Diablo Blanco morph. Um, they're honestly pretty awesome lizards. I'm going to kind of give you guys some facts about them today and stuff and kind of talk about how they are as a pet. Um, Pretty cheap and affordable and awesome little guys, to be honest with you. I was never a big lizard person, like I said, until we got our skink, and this was the second lizard we got, and pretty awesome. So we'll go into some husbandry and kind of upkeep on them. So their husbandry is pretty easy. They're desert animals, so there isn't really a whole lot in the desert. Um, for your bedding or your substrate, you don't want to lose substrate at all. Because it will cause impactions and can kill the animal. But most people use a reptile carpet or actually floor tile, and they make the floor tile fit to the bottom of the enclosure. I personally use reptile carpet, just something that their feet aren't going to stick to, so I use the desert reptile carpet. And I haven't had any problems with his feet sticking to the reptile carpet at all. Um, in the case that would happen, I would probably switch to the tile. I've seen where a lot of people use tile on the bottom of them for these leopard geckos, and they're easy to clean. There's no worry about their feet catching or anything, so that might be the way to go for most people, depending on how easy and inexpensive it is for you in your area. Here, it's just better to go with the carpet. We can cut it to size and things. As far as hides go, you do need a hot and a cold hide. Have to have a hot and a cold hide with these guys. Their hot side is going to be between 80 to 90 degrees, and their cool side is going to be between 70 to 80 degrees. So you're going to have to make sure that you have a hide on both sides so they can really thermal regulate from side to side. They will need a basking spot of about 90 degrees. So for us, our heat lamp is right over top of his warm hide, and it has a way for him to get up there and gives him a nice spot to bask out. Personally, I don't ever see ours basking. So these guys don't do well with the direct light or a lot of light, even though you're supposed to use a heat lamp for them. It kind of hurts their eyes, I think, at least from the way ours reacts. Maybe it's just because of the morph he is. I don't know. But they do need that basking spot and that option. But that's all for husbandry. Now we're going to talk about their schedule, and their schedule is a little off compared to what you normally hear online. We did a lot of research once we got him. My wife kind of knew a little bit about leopard geckos before we got him, and it's kind of been our learning experience with him, and you're not supposed to do that. I know that. So everyone thinks they're nocturnal, but they're actually their schedule's known as something called crepuscular. It is and I think I said that right. It's a hard word, and I have a speech impediment, so I probably butchered it. Not gonna lie. But it's actually where they're out and moving and kind of alert and up at like dusk to dawn, or at dusk and then at dawn. Yeah. So first thing in the morning they're up, and that's probably when they're hunting and moving around trying to figure out where they're going to get cozy for the day, there for the day, and then out again at night to finish finding insects and things to eat. As far as like their feeding goes, your juveniles are going to eat every day pretty much as they want. Only on insects. You don't feed vegetables and all kinds of crazy stuff like you might a blue-tongued skink or other types of lizards. They're going to feed on only insects. Ours personally loves hornworms. I read that you're not supposed to feed him hornworms every meal, so it's more of a treat for him. He pretty much stays on mealworms and crickets, and he seems to do good. And like I said, mealworms are more of a treat for him. But I've never read anywhere else that you can't give them hornworms every day either. So I would just do your research on that and make sure you're comfortable and confident with whatever you decide to do. But yeah, they pretty easy to take care of. Their schedule's pretty simple and normal as far as the feeding and when they're up and down and things. So as they get older, even the adults are gonna slow down on their eating, and you can judge by their tail's thickness. So I've always been told that the tail should be about the thickness of the body on them. As they get older, you can cut them down to every other day feedings or 3 times a week. I've heard of people only feeding them once a week if they're getting way too obese. I don't necessarily think that's the way to go. Obviously, like I said, they aren't active constantly for a whole cycle throughout the night or the day. So, you going to chill in my hair? You do you, buddy. So there isn't a lot of room for exercise there. If your lizard is getting obese and you can tell, then my personal opinion is to probably lower their feeds and what you're giving them as far as fat content and things. Know your contents as far as what those insects carry. And then get them out a little bit during the day, and let them exercise, get them moving, and the more of a relationship you establish with them, the more they're going to kind of move around with you, but they're still a really easy to handle lizard where they aren't too extremely active. So now onto their diet. Their diet is going to consist of strictly insects. You're going to be feeding crickets, mealworms, occasionally superworms, occasionally hornworms, and then dubia roaches. They can be picky eaters. We've gotten lucky as far as our guy goes. He eats anything as long as it's moving. Like if it's just laying there, he's like, really, but he'll eat anything at all. Anything, trust me, anything. We drop anything in there, and he's going to eat it. We have to really watch with him though, because of that. He will eat an excessive amount too. And like I had mentioned earlier, their tail is their gauge for if they're getting too big or not. It's supposed to be the thickness of their body. So if it starts to get bigger than that, obviously you need to cut them back. Usually leopard geckos aren't the animal to instinctively eat like maybe different species, but like maybe a king snake or any of your colubrids, really, as far as snakes go, where they eat at every chance they get. These guys aren't exactly like that. They'll let you know when they're full. But of course there's some out there that will overindulge. It's just what it is. I've seen those at reptile shows, and it wasn't a fat tail lizard. They were selling them as leopard geckos. Like, it was legit. But they are out there. They will try and overindulge. So just make sure you're watching your lizard and making sure it's not getting overly or overweight. You need to supplement with multivitamins, and if you're not using a UVB bulb, which I know I didn't mention in Husbandry because they don't actually need it. If you're supplementing with D3, you don't actually have to use a UVB bulb. I'm sure that can be argued, but it's proven. Google it. The multivitamins, it's just your normal reptile multivitamins. Actually, I'm going to pause you guys for a second. Okay, so I just ran and grabbed, I forgot we had this guy out earlier. I had a friend over, and we were letting him feed him. So we went ahead and did his vitamins and calcium and this and that for tonight. So this is the reptile calcium with the vitamin D3 in it. And this is what we supplement for not using a UVB bulb. I don't have a preference on how you're going to deliver the D3. Either way, whichever, use your best judgment, research. This is just how I do it, and it's worked. We don't have any problems with them. if anything was to develop, I will do an update video and let you guys know, hey, I was wrong. But everything I have read, this is completely okay. And this is the multivitamin we use. And it's really easy with either one of them. You just dust them, dust the crickets, the mealworms, whatever, in it. The way we do it, because we kind of hand feed him because he's spoiled, and if you just put it in his food bowl, he won't eat, or he'll eat a little bit and not enough. So we actually hand feed him, and we just take our tongs that we have, and it's just a powder, and we dip them in there and kind of move them around a little bit and get a nice dusting on him, and then stick them down there in his face, and we actually alternate back and forth to make sure he's getting enough of both. And the same thing with this D3, that's more like a brownish powder. This is almost looks like baby powder. I almost said a drug reference, but there's probably kids watching, so I don't do drugs. I promise. I know I look stoned all the time, but it's just because I work a lot. But yeah, it's like almost like a baby powder look to it, and it doesn't really stick well. The calcium D3, or with the D3 in it, doesn't really stick well to the insects. But if you get it in there and just kind of move it around a little bit, it gets enough on there and it's fine. So when you're supplementing with D3, you're no longer giving the animal the opportunity to soak or bask in the sun or the UVB light. So there is the possibility of your lizard actually overdosing on the UVB light. And the way to show that is these holes here behind his arm. I don't want to bug him too much because he's been out once already today. But they're holes. I was actually concerned when I first saw them because I didn't know they had them. And they swell up or close almost, and that's when you know that they're kind of overdosing on the D3. But yeah, that's kind of their eating and what goes down with that. So we got one more thing to cover, and then yeah, that'll be it. So one of the things that we're working on now, kind of at a local level, and if anybody on here, I guess, watches it out of the 17 views that we've gotten in the past videos, and you guys have maybe a reptile that you aren't comfortable with keeping, if you are thinking that it's getting to a point now where you know, you guys just can't keep it anymore, or need help or advice, I do want to encourage you guys to message me on Instagram. There's a group style setup we got going on Facebook. I meant to make it a page, I accidentally made it a group. Feel free to get on there and join the group, and start conversations and things. If you have a reptile you're having problems with, hopefully we can get enough people on there that I can get on and help and talk with you guys and other people that might know something that could help you. And there's also a Twitter page that you're more than welcome to go follow. Shoot me a message, and I can help out with any questions you guys have or anything you're going through. And if you just need to get rid of one, maybe it needs rehabilitated or rehomed, message me and maybe we can work something out to get the animal what it needs. I'm obviously not looking to make profit off these guys. If that's not obvious, well then you should probably let me know about that too, because then I'm doing a terrible job at what I'm supposed to be doing. It's just kind of something I've gotten into. I love, you know, snakes and lizards and everything. So, yeah, go ahead and let me know. Like I said, Instagram, Heavy Metal Reptiles, Facebook, Heavy Metal Reptiles, and Twitter, Heavy Metal Reptiles, and do me another favor too, and leave me a comment or message me on any of those platforms and kind of let me know what you guys think of the video. And this guy's caught my hair again. Okay, there we go. let me know what you guys think of the videos and what I can improve on and what would make them a little bit better to watch. Whether it be editing, in that case it's my wife's fault, or the creepy long-haired meth head behind or in front of the camera that's holding things and going, look at these, and giving you information. I'm probably not the most best looking source. You guys definitely think I'm on crack. But anyways, thanks for checking out the video, man.